Alright you guys, today we're going to be deleting the stock plastic Degas bottle in your 99 2003 7.3 Powerstroke. This is what it looks like. You have a 1-inch ID bottom hose here, then you have a 1/2-inch ID overflow hose here, which is this guy here. Okay, one side coming out from the radiator is the 1/2 inch. This side going to the actual reservoir is 3/8. This hose usually has no problems. Usually this 1-inch ID hose down here usually doesn't have any problems. What the problem lies is this plastic bottle in itself. These can get old, they crack. You can see this one's starting to varnish. And really, a lot of sediment starts to build up. You guys can see it's pretty nasty in here. And so it's really not a good look. And number two, why put a plastic one in when you can put an aluminum one in? Yeah, you can put an aftermarket one in from Thoroughbred Diesel from Amazon and still keep the stock location. But I'm having a lot of customization done to my truck. And so I'm getting rid of this big hunky plastic thing all in general. Keep in mind, we have a 16 PSI cap. That's what this system's rated for. We'll mention that back in the future, so keep that in the back of your head. So I went to Amazon and I picked up this 2.5 liter overflow tank. This was like 40 bucks. It comes with a couple different fittings. You have this 1/2 inch, this 3/8, then you have this 1/4 inch which will go in the top for your overflow hose. Now what it does not come with, I bought a ICT billet 1-inch weld-on aluminum bung. That was 10 bucks itself. Had that welded at the bottom, found my orientation where I'm going to put this for my application. We're also going to be going ahead and using the 1/2 inch included barb fitting, the included 1/4 inch fitting for the top. The one we're not going to be using is a 3/8, so we can discard that to the side. And again, if you guys saw the last video, we went ahead and I relocated my batteries to the bed, so that's a whole nother video in itself. We're going to locate this bad boy right here. So you can see the orientation of both outlets here. We're going to have this one come up underneath this battery bracket and replace the stock hose, which is right there. This 1/2 inch hose is going to feed up behind the washer reservoir, come up, get zip tied, and right there to the vent of the radiator. Head while I was at the parts store, matched it up with one that fit for the 16 PSI for the system, which is 7516. Also, while you're at the parts store, you're going to need some 1-inch heater hose. This stuff's actually pretty affordable. I'll put a part number on the screen now. I went ahead and got 5 feet of that. Then also, I went ahead and got a pre-molded hose. There's the part number there, 28471. This is 1/2 inch inside diameter. This is going to fit our upper radiator hose because again, this upper inlet is a 1/2 inch. All right. So you can see there it's a little loose, but we'll make do. You come over here, and this is plenty long enough for our application, which will fit all the way over here. All right, and that will simply make a bend right there. It'll come up over, away from the wiring, and then the other wire, or other hose, excuse me, will get tucked right down there. So we're good to go there. We have a couple hose clamps to fit these big things. I got some M6x1.0 stainless steel bolts and nuts. This piece of flat stock is just under 6 inches long. Went ahead and marked it. These holes are actually threaded to M6x1.0, so I got the appropriate stainless steel bolts, so I don't have to try to fight to get nuts on the backside. And you can see I've already got my mark there. I'm going to just self-tap it here in the header panel. So, or I might put some nut certs so I can make this thing removable, but you guys can see where it's going to go. Obviously, I have to tighten those bolts so that gap, and I can put a slight bend in the bottom of that bracket to either push the bottle in or push it outward some. I wanted to keep it away enough from the wires there, and I wanted enough room under there so the bottom of the hose has a nice conformity to go down and up, down at the bottom of the radiator. And then this one will tuck simply behind radiator, and we can mount this as far back as we need to because we have all that room down there underneath the fender bolt there. So I'm going to back it up as much as I can, and this will tuck it. Alright, you guys, went ahead, drained all the coolant out, got our new hose down there with a new hose clamp, cut it to the length I need, left a little extra. Okay, here's a bracket. Went ahead and I bent it in probably about -2-3 degrees. All right, just to give us a slight incline. Went ahead and also drilled 2 3/8 holes, used some 1/4x20 nut certs. Going to be using some grade 8 bolts with some stainless steel hardware, of course. That's going to line up right there. You can see that bent in angle. It's going to sit nicely right here in this little corner. I powder coated, spray painted, and we have the stainless steel bolts. Again, the M6x1.0s. We'll use Loctite, get that in there. I'm going to be using these grade 8 bolts to go down in the 1/4x20 nut certs. So yeah, and then we can start working on this fitting here. All right, you guys, want to show you up close So went ahead, got the hose, ran up away from everything. We're good there. I got a flashlight here to show you. It's kind of a hard radius to see, but the hose is not kinked whatsoever. And I was able to tuck it up underneath the washer reservoir here. So I'd say we're good to go with that. And other than that, again, this thing is freaking solid. I was able to just clear the washer reservoir. Obviously the light's in the way, but you can see there. So really I was working, you know, with different angles trying to get this thing to fit right. I could have stuck it this way, but then this fitting's gonna face the back of the headlight, where I wanted a nice short piece to come up to connect to there. And I wanted the gradual S, if you will, like a snake. So it goes down underneath that bracket, comes down on top of the frame rail, and naturally goes there. So you don't have any kinks, that should be good to go there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some sealant on this fitting, and we're gonna go ahead and get this other line up to the vent tube. All right, you guys, it's 100% done. Zip tied, ran everything. Got our upper hose here. Excuse me when I said earlier in the video this was a 1/2 inch. It was expanded to a 1/2 inch, but this barb coming out of the top of the radiator and going in the reservoir, it's actually a 3/8. So I took a piece of 3/8 line, shoved it inside this 1/2 inch, this new line I have here, and I went ahead, shoved it on here, and it went on pretty tight. And then I have this close clamp that's not going to come off anytime soon. Went ahead, ran it down. We have this trimmed, and then it comes over and goes right into our 1/2 inch. Seal that up. We have our bleed off, our vent line here. This is just some 3/8 fuel line. Got it ran down, up underneath, coming out, and it goes right there, just zip tied to the bottom of the cowl support there. So, all right, other than that, also down here in the frame rail, you guys are probably concerned of it chafing. You guys can see I have a piece of hose with some zip ties, have it secured there to the starter wire, so we are good there also. We have a clamp down the bottom, so let's go ahead, fill it with coolant, and see what happens. All right, you guys, well, that's the video on me relocating my coolant bottle in my 2002 7.3 Powerstroke. If you guys have any questions or anything, DM me on Instagram at Powerstroke Boys. Make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, comment. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.